What's up, Channel Fireball? This is Anurag with another Legacy video, and today we've got a really sweet Storm deck that we're going to be playing with. You might be used to seeing your Storm variants involve cards like Infernal Tutor or like Wishclaw Talisman, Veil of Summer. Respectively, I'm talking about Ad Nauseam Tendrils and then also the Epic Storm. But this is a nice spin on the archetype here, so let's dive right into the deck tech and talk about what's going on here. So, as you're aware, Storm is a deck that will leverage, just ritual effects alongside discard, and in this case, we've got a couple counters to generate enough Storm and then finish the game with something like a Tendrils of Agony, right? Tendrils of Agony deals 2 damage, or I guess loses 2 life, and you gain 2 life, and then has Storm attached to it. So our goal is to get to 10 Storm, and then we Tendrils for the win. Now, normally what we'd be doing is we'd be, playing a bunch of Thoughtseizes and Duresses and maybe even Veil of Summer. We'd play Infernal Tutor on the stack, crack our lines at Diamond, get past In Flames, and then, rebuy our whole graveyard to have a lethal Tendrils. But this deck is trying to do it a little bit differently, and I think this is a really elegant way to play the deck out. So rather than relying on Past In Flames as an engine, we're actually playing Peer into the Abyss, hence the name Pita Storm, which, may mean one thing or another, but Peer into the Abyss is pretty sweet here. This is a card from M21 that, when it was released, it did raise some eyebrows for the Legacy Storm community. This is 4 black for a sorcery that says target player draws cards equal to half the number of cards in their library, and they lose half their life. You round up each time. So basically what we're trying to do is to get to 7 mana as fast as possible, target ourselves with Peer into the Abyss, draw our entire deck, and then combo off, find a way to get to Tendrils of Agony. Now, I've only played 2 leagues with this deck just right now, and I gotta tell you, this deck has been pretty sweet so far. I've touting an 8-2 record, but the matchups have been pretty favorable. What's really interesting about this build specifically is now that we've let go of Infernal Tutor and Lion's Eye Diamond, we actually have access to a really sweet one in the form of Pact of Negation, right? We don't actually have to ditch our hand here to do our combo. So Pact of Negation is great as a 0 mana way to set up for the combo kill. Another interesting card here that we're playing is actually from Strixhaven, which is Solve the Equation. And this is a card that I think has raised some eyebrows as well, just like Peer into the Abyss. 3 mana to search up any sorcery or instant from your deck, put it into your hand. A lot of these combo decks, like Doomsday, for example, too, are trying to find ways to maximize consistency, right? And Solve the Equation is an interesting way to go about that. Now, it is pretty expensive at 3 mana, but when you factor in Dark Rituals, Lotus Petals, Chrome Moxen, you're able to play this card on turn 2 or 3 pretty reliably, right? But otherwise, I think this deck is pretty stock here. You've got 12 cantrips in the form of Preordain, Ponder, and Brainstorm. Follow it up with the 1 of Night's Whisper. I love me a Night's Whisper. I really do. For mana, we've got 4 Lotus Petals, 4 Dark Rituals, 2 Cabal Rituals, 2 Chrome Moxen, and then this card, Reign of Filth, has actually been really good. I know this might be one of Cyrus Corman Gill's, aka the Storm God's, favorite Storm spells here, although he may say something also about like boarding it out a lot. I don't know. Ask Cyrus about that, not me, but I've been playing this a little bit and it has looked pretty interesting. I've been pretty happy about it so far. It pairs pretty well with the Cabal Rituals and really has enabled some faster Peer into the Abysses. So yeah, it's pretty sweet here. And then you've got, your 4 discard spells, Thoughtseize, Duress, and then 4 Pact of Negation to round it off. The sideboard is pretty straightforward here. All of these cards are, they do feature like a very specific purpose for certain cards here. So for example, you've got like Brazen Borrower for cards like Leovold or Narset, even Hull Breacher, Hurkyl's Recall for artifacts like Chalice, Trinisphere, Sphere of Resistance even. Massacre is good against any sort of like D&T sort of strategy or, just any sort of like plains-based hate bear deck that features like either Swing Canvas and whatnot. Fatal Push again for like Collector Oofs or Leovold. Creature removal in general is just pretty good. And then round it off with Thoughtseize, Surgical Extraction for graveyard decks, Flusterstorm, and Chain of Vapor, right? I really do also like the Dark Confidants as like a plan B sort of, when you're playing a Storm deck, your opponent's going to board in all their Flusterstorms and their Spell Pierces, their Force of Negations or whatever, Veil of Summer. And then you go, bam, Dark Confidant on turn 2 or even as turn 1. And you're just like, all right, well, while you sit on your counter spells, I'm just going to keep drawing cards, grind through eventually with the sheer number of Duresses and Thoughtseizes and Pact of Negations that we draw. So I'm ready for the first match. We'll see you there. All right, looking at the 7-card hand here, I don't think there's a way I can keep this. I mean, we do have a lot of... This hand is very explosive, right? Double Petal and a couple rituals. So if we Brainstorm and we hit land and like a Peer into the Abyss, we're pretty good here. Pact of Negation as well. I almost wonder if I'm supposed to take the gamble here, but I feel like more often than not, this hand is going to be a mulligan, right? Looking at the hand right now, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana, and one has to go to the Brainstorm. So we really only have 4 mana. If we whiff on a land, which is probably likely because we're only playing 15 mana sources, it could go really bad. So I'm going to go ahead and ship this. We'll see if we can get a better 6 here. And this one looks pretty good, actually. I think we get to bin either the Duress or the Pact of Negation here. Opponent has also mulliganed to 6, which is pretty good for us. Let's just go ahead. I mean, we've got double cantrip. I'm going to keep this. I think I want to get rid of well, honestly, Pact of Negation is pretty nice. Yeah, let's get rid of the Duress here. It might not be 100% correct. I think that or the Pact of Negation, you could go both ways, right? Having the Duress would allow me to know what my opponent is playing and how to like navigate the games moving forward. But I feel like the Pact of Negation might be a little bit stronger overall because it allows me to use my mana on other things here. So I'm just going to go ahead and play Underground Sea and then Preordain here. Of note, this deck does play 5 basics. Okay, Chrome Mox is definitely not very good here. Solve the Equation I also think is a little bit too slow. So I'm going to go ahead and bottom both of these right now. Oh, we picked up a Duress anyway. So the irony, I suppose. Maybe I got rewarded here for making that mulligan decision. It's hard to say. But yeah, this deck does play a solid number of basics. We have 5, which makes me pretty ecstatic to... Well, actually, other way around. That means that playing the Underground Sea, there's probably ways around it. Like, I don't have to fetch it up immediately. But in this situation, like, I think because we have it naturally in our hand, we're on a mulligan to 6. I'm not going to fight too much. Just keep in mind that I want to find more mana at some point of time to replace the Underground Sea should it get wastelanded. Okay, Volcanic Island into a Preordain means that we're probably playing against either Sneak and Show or we're probably playing against some sort of Delver deck, Blue-Red Delver. If it is Blue-Red Delver, then we can anticipate that there might be like a 2-drop coming down next turn, that they kept a hand that has like a 2-drop but no Delver of Secrets. But if it is Sneak and Show, then maybe they're just setting up for something a little bit better here. Either way, I think I'm going to just fire off well, we drew Cabal Ritual. Does that change things? I don't know if it really does. I'm going to go ahead and fire off the Duress here anyways. We've got the Pact of Negation for the combo turn. So this means that we can use the Duress to basically figure out how we want to, use this Ponder. 1, 2, 3 mana with the Cabal Ritual. So we actually do need a couple more mana sources to get to this Peer into the Abyss. And also if we're playing against Sneak and Show. Oh, wow. Okay, so we're playing against this deck. It is Rug Delver with Stifle. So I'm going to go ahead and... I could just take the Force of Will here. Yeah, I think I like taking the Force of Will here. And my logic for taking the Force of Will is Stifle. Like, we can try to play around Stifle as much as possible. And then at the very end, after we resolve our Peer into the Abyss, we'll have so many Pact of Negations and Duresses and Thoughtseize. Thoughtseizes that they'll actually just never get a chance to stifle our Tendrils of Agony. And I'm going to get another Underground Sea here. I know I was talking about the basics earlier, but because we're already susceptible to Wasteland, I think we just do it again. And here... I don't really like this. I think we just want mana. The land itself is not bad, but because they have a Stifle, they might just hold it up and not play the Tarmogoyf next turn. So I'm going to go ahead and actually just shuffle this right now and hope for something better. Okay, Ponder is a rebuy, and I think that's a pretty good draw here. Gotta say, I'm a huge fan of the old border reprints. Makes me really happy. I even just picked up my paper copies as well. And yep, okay, so they're cracking the Scalding Tarn here. They're going to get Tropical Island, and it looks like they're going to play the Tarmogoyf now and just get the damage on board, it seems. Okay, makes sense. Which means now is the window for us to draw into, okay, the fetch land there. So we're going to use the fetch land alongside this Ponder to get some really good selection. Dark Ritual is exactly what I was looking for. And that gives me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. I'm pretty sure we're almost there. Actually, do we have, so this puts 5. Do we have enough to go off right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, actually, I guess we could tap out right now. We know 3 of the cards in their hand, so I might as well just do it right now, right? So when I'm saying these numbers, by the way, the shortcut that I'm using is in my head, I'm trying to think of how much mana each card generates. So for example, Dark Ritual, it says add black, 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 but the cost is black, right? So the net mana that we get from this is actually 2 mana, right? So same thing for Cabal Ritual. Normally, we pay 2, we get 3, so we get 1 extra mana, but here we're gonna have Threshold, so we pay 2, we get 5, we're gonna be up 3. So 3, 2, 1, 1. 3 plus 2 plus 1 is 6 plus 1 is 7. So that's perfect. And we know that they have Stifle, Forkbolt, Brazen Borrower. So I think this is a pretty good, this is a locked one here. We have it no matter what. I'm going to go ahead and just fetch up an island. We're going to Dark Ritual here. That gives us 6 cards. This is going to be the 7th card for Threshold. And this is a turn 3 with backup. So this is pretty sweet here. And we peer into the Abyss. We target ourselves. We draw a bunch of cards here. And now it's just fundamentals. I mean, honestly, I should probably look at the rest of the cards before I make a move here. Did we find Tendrils of Agony? We did. Perfect. Okay, cool. And that's kind of the cool thing too, is that even if we don't find the Tendrils of Agony, we could just solve the equation and then go from there. So pretty good stuff. All right, we're going to take down this one. And yeah, time for some sideboarding. This is actually the first time I played against Delver, and I feel like this is kind of a big indicator of how good this deck is compared to other ones. I will say that one of the benefits that I talked about in the deck tech, right, was that like you don't have to discard your hand, which means that you actually get to play counter magic, which I think is going to be pretty important here. So I'm bringing in some cards over here. I'm not really sure myself how I would sideboard. So if you're a Storm aficionado, I'd really love to hear what your thoughts are and how you would personally play this out. I do want the Flusterstorms. I don't think I want the Fatal Pushes. I think I just give them a clock. Fatal Push seems to be more for like hate bears that prevent me from playing the game. So I'm thinking like either Swan Canonist or Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, or like Collector Oof, Leovold, Hullbreacher, those kind of cards, right? Not so much Tarmogoyf, not so much Delver of Secrets, right? I mean, maybe it's actually correct to bring it in here. Let's see how the game plays out, and then maybe we can use that for just like the post-board games here. But cards that I'm not exactly enthused about, Knight's Whisper is not something I'm crazy about, and then like Double Preordained, I think that's what the Storm players normally cut. I don't really know, but it sounds like in a lot of the sideboarding questions that I've asked the Storm players in the past, they say, oh yeah, I board out Preordain a lot. And I'm just like, all right, well, sure, I'll go ahead and do the same thing here. Try to replicate. Chrome Mox is not a great card, but this is a matchup where we do need to play around something like Daze. So I think I might just like go ahead and cut these cards and just bring in these three. Seems pretty good. Cut some selection for some interaction, and then our cantrips will have to do a little bit more work here. Yeah, I really wonder if we're supposed to just like... No, I don't think this is a matchup for Dark Confidant, all things considered here, because Lightning Bolt is probably still going to be good against us in some capacity because we do shave our life total in half thanks to Peer into the Abyss. And if they ever could get actual value out of Dark Confidant or Lightning Bolt on a Dark Confidant, I'll feel really bad here. So I'm going to go ahead and submit this, and then we can reevaluate if there's a game 3, whether we want Fatal Push or not. I could maybe slim down on like a Thoughtseize or something like that, but I think Thoughtseize is actually going to be pretty good because we saw Stifle, and I want to have enough answers to it. And speaking of, I think this hand is kind of cool. Good mana, a couple Lotus Petals, even a Rain of Filth here, which is a card that I thought was pretty phenomenal. Maybe Rain of Filth is the kind of card that is one of like the weaker mana sources that could get boarded out. Looks like they're going to mulligan down to 6 here, and I'm going to go ahead and keep. And we're just going to try and sculpt away and see what we can do. Oh, this is another really sweet thing too, right? Is we're really likely to get Storm after drawing half of our deck. Something about drawing 20 cards and, you know, like just having enough spells, you'll just get there, right? That we can actually like play our Lotus Petals preemptively and not really have to worry about Storm count. I haven't really run into an issue yet, but who knows? This might be the first time, just like straight up on camera, where it actually happens, yeah? All right, looks like a turn 1 Delver. This is aggressive and honestly one of the scarier starts here. So I'm going to play Lotus Petal here, and I think I just want to preordain. I want to find a black mana source. Well, no. These might look good, but I don't actually think they're... Well, okay, I don't think we need this many. Like, I definitely only want 1 max. Duress doesn't seem too bad here, actually, but the Ponder would have to pull through. Yeah, in fact, I'm going to go ahead and bottom this. I'm not a huge fan. And Cabal Ritual seems slightly better here, and this means that the Ponder will be able to, like, try to find other stuff here. I don't know. Yeah. Would you keep the Duress there? I do like to layer up my removal spell or my interaction here. I find that the games where I normally lose when I'm playing against Storm is when they actually have like on the combo turn, it's like Dark Ritual, okay, Thoughtseize, and they have like 4 different discard spells in the same turn to just like beat me, right? And keeping the Duress there is part of that recipe, but that also just requires a lot of mana. Fortunately, the Delver did not flip. If I had to guess, there was a creature on top. I'm also just going to assume here that they have something like a Daze or a Force effect. I tweeted the other day, and I was thinking about Force of Negation and how it's kind of a card that I'm not exactly ecstatic about in Legacy. Okay, Grafted, this is perfect. This is fantastic. Like, this is a card that would normally shut down Ad Nauseam Tendrils, but our deck just doesn't care about this card. So our opponent is functionally mulligan, right? This is a card that comes close to just shutting down a deck like Ad Nauseam Tendrils in certain situations. And here we are, kind of just chilling. Meatball sauce, let's go. All right, I'm going to ponder here. We've got Polluted Delta to get a swamp. I think I'm going to keep the ponder, shuffle up. They only have 3 cards in hand. I'm going to get my black source right now. And probably just pass the turn here. I'd like not to Thoughtseize now if I don't have to, right? And just keeping a tally of the amount of mana I have. Right now, the Rain of Filth only taps for 1 net mana because we have 2 lands in play that we can sack. Cabal Ritual only taps for 1 mana. I will say, though, that Rain of Filth and Cabal Ritual is a sweet combo because we get to dump cards into our graveyard to give us Threshold, which is pretty cool. I mean, like, let's think about it right now. We have 3 cards in the graveyard. If we add the Island, that's 4. The Swamp, that's 5. The Lotus Petal, that's 6. The other Lotus Petal, that's 7. The Rain of Filth itself, That's 8. We have plenty of cards now for Cabal Ritual, and I think putting in the 2 extra cards from play into the graveyard definitely does help with that a little bit. So Brainstorm on the upkeep in response to the Delver trigger to guarantee the flip here. I'm not a huge fan of this play, but I can totally understand why you would do this. To me, this makes me feel like my opponent is feeling some sort of pressure. The real downside is that you have to really like make sure you're getting good payoff here from the Brainstorm flipping the Delver. The downside IMO is that Delver has always felt like a deck that you have to squeeze out every bit of value that you can across the finish line. Maybe less so when it's really powerful, like with Wrenn and 6 or with like Dreadhorde Arcanist. But in this capacity, I feel like in the way Delver is right now, I do feel like you lose percentage points by, brainstorming on upkeep. You don't get, you dilute the effectiveness of your brainstorm, right? So I think that's, honestly, maybe a little good for us here. We're going to go down to 15 and see what they do. Kind of nervous, actually. I don't know if this one Thoughtseize is really going to get us there. I'm going to go ahead and ponder again. They might Red Blast this. Hard to say. I could have led with the Thoughtseize first. Oh, perfect. And that should do the trick. Okay. So let's think about this real quick. We have Reign of Filth. We have Cabal Ritual. We have Thoughtseize and Flusterstorm. Do I want to Thoughtseize this turn? That is the question, right? So how much mana do I have in total? Well, if I play the Lotus Petal right now, all right, well, let's just I gotta do this in my head because I'm kind of a slow storm boy, so you know what I mean? Like, we'll figure this out together. I'll do this as manually as I possibly can. So Lotus Petal, that'll give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. Okay, and then the Reign of Filth will be able to sacrifice 1, 2, 3, 4 mana. So this nets us 3, so that's 5 plus 3 is 8. Cabal Ritual at that point will net us another 3, so that's 11 mana total. So I think we are good to go here and just wait one more turn. I think I'm going to play the Lotus Petal out right now because playing it next turn would supercharge their Flusterstorms more than it would supercharge mine, just as a function of mana right now. So yeah, I think all things considered, it's looking pretty good. Something like Null Rod would be pretty obnoxious. I guess I would just sack the Lotus Petals then to put them in the graveyard for Threshold, but how does that affect my mana count? Well, I said I had like 11 mana. Oh, I already forgot. What was it? 5? Oh, Surgical on Ponder. No, that's so annoying. All right, well, I have to Flusterstorm this because we have PETA on the top of our deck. And when I say PETA, I mean peer into the abyss. I'm not going to stop making that joke. I think that's just a really funny joke. All right, same targets. All right, are you going to pay 4? No? Okay. Well, hopefully you don't have another one. That would be very annoying. But looks like this was going to trade with something. I mean, I wouldn't normally... I wonder if I made a mistake here drawing the Flusterstorm instead of the Peer into the Abyss then. Like, Flusterstorm is something that I could use this turn, like if they played something that was like super, super scary, But maybe it's fine. So we have 5... No, we have 6 mana, actually. What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. Okay. And then plus 3, 12? Counting has been really hard for me today. I don't know why. All right, we'll see what they do with the Delver. The Wasteland, honestly, doesn't feel that bad right now. They're going to attack in with the Delver Secrets. That's going to put us down to 12. We're actually going to go down to 6. No, before that, we're going to Thoughtseize, so we're going to go to 10, then down to 5. So theoretically, we could just get double bolted out of the game here. Now, let's see what happens. Oh, they're tapping out for something. Please don't be a Narset. Hooting Mandrills, maybe? It looks like a hoodie. Oh, Ethereal Forager. Okay, that's very good news for us. So I think we just get to win, right? So I'm going to go ahead and lead with the Thoughtseize here. All right, Thoughtseize, target you. And I'm really glad that we sandbagged this. I was testing in an earlier game, and I lost because I was burning my Thoughtseizes and Duresses as I drew them. And then on the combo turn, a couple turns had passed, and my opponent had actually top-decked into a Force of Will, and I lost because of that. So I'm kind of glad here that we are sort of sandbagging them, if you will. All right, be sure to add blue. Okay, now we're going to add black, and just keep going. Oh, well, Cabal here. Sure. This should give it to us now, right? We have 8 mana. All right, peer into the abyss, target myself. 1, 2, 3. Do this, and we can still sack these lands if we need to. And I'm really hoping, all right, we have a Chrome Mox, we have a Dark Ritual. Sure, so sack this for black. There's a Dark Ritual. Ooh, wait, do we not have Tendrils? Okay, we actually did not draw into Tendrils. So let's just go ahead and spew all of our rituals real quick. Oh, no, but we have Solve the Equation. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, so this is one of the reasons why I also like Solve the Equation, because it is functionally able to search for... It's good pre-combo, and it's also good post-combo. So 7. All right, Solve... Do this, and then we're gonna grab Tendrils of Agony, and our opponent is at a low enough life total. They're at 16. Storm is 8. And that should do it. They have a Brainstorm enhanced, so this should be sufficient. Okay, cool. This is exciting. I really like this deck. I don't know. I really like that we were able to like fade the Grafdigger's Cage here. I think that's a huge reason to play this deck maybe over at regular Ad Nauseam Tendrils. But like, look at this post combo too. Post Peer into the Abyss. We literally have 3 Pact of Negations, and yep, that's going to be GG. See you for the next one. All right, this hand is pretty sweet here. We've got Ponder and an Island. We've got mana, and we have a lot of interaction here in the form of Duress, Pact of Negation. I actually like the Cabal Ritual here. I think it's sufficient mana to keep the hand. And we also have Solve the Equation, which right now is not really castable. I'm going to keep this hand nevertheless, though. Ponder plus Lotus Petal should be good for the first few turns to just get out, maybe make another couple land drops, and then move on from there. Our opponent has mulligan down to 6. They're going to keep, they're on the play. Windswept Heath. All right, so Wirewood Symbiote. So we're playing against Elves, which I've found is pretty good. I happen to play against it twice. This is pretty good draw. So now, the reason I think Peer into the Abyss is a stronger draw than like most other draws is because this really allows us to like dedicate our Ponders and Preordains and Brainstorms to just finding mana, right? Solve the Equation can now try to find something like a Rain of Filth or something like that. Rather than, you know, just have to dig up like a Peer into the Abyss or a Tendrils of Agony or whatever it is. So Ponder, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not the biggest fan of this Ponder because we're really just in trouble here. Like, if anything, what I would do is I would draw the Delta and the Duress. I don't think we need a second Pact of Negation. I don't think Pact of Negation is very good in this matchup. The problem is if I shuffle, we're kind of just in trouble, right? Like, next turn we could technically solve the equation for... Is getting like a Dark Ritual good? No, we need Threshold, so I'd probably actually just get Rain of Filth, and then the turn after, if we draw another mana source, we could like... man, the Polluted Delta is so good. I think... I might just, but so much can go wrong if we shuffle. I think I'm gonna shuffle. I really don't want to draw the second Duress. I mean, I guess the problem is Elves can consistently kill us on turn 3. So if I keep this hand, I might be pricing myself into casting the Duress next turn instead. And then what does the game look like, right? I don't think I'm gonna be double Duressing by any means. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and shuffle here. Okay, well, we drew Rain of Filth. I don't think that's too bad. All right. It could be risky. I mean, I really did want that Polluted Delta. I really, really did. But the other 2 cards were bad enough. And I think the matchup is like tense enough where we need to basically just race them, right? Okay, so this is a Quirion Ranger. And I have to imagine now that they're going to like tap 2 for Gaia's Cradle and then play like an Elvish Visionary or something like that. Oh, they have Scavenging Ooze? Okay, that's not too bad. That is not too bad at all. And we drew a Thoughtseize. Yeah, this is what I was worried about. Maybe I should have just... Yeah, oh man, if we had kept Solve the Equation, then we would have a better time. All right, I'm going to just go ahead and pass the turn. Yeah, and actually, Scavenging Ooze is really annoying because it turns off Threshold. So that's really bad. They could just like end the game right here, right now with a Natural Order. We'll see what happens here. I could Pact of Negation here, but I don't think there's a way for me to get blue. So I'm going to go ahead and concede here, and I don't want to show them the rest of my deck here. Maybe we can... I mean, I showed them the Lotus Petal, which was pretty bad. If I had played Solve the Equation this turn, I think I would have died anyways. So like I mentioned, right, like we're just like kind of priced into doing what we did. And this, would this have been enough here? I don't think so, right? Because we would have... The next draw would have been... 1, 2, 3, 4. The Rain of Filth basically cycles. It doesn't actually generate mana at this point. And I don't know if there's a way for us to get more cards into the graveyard. So I'm not going to think about it too much here. This is sort of what Elves does, which is kind of what I expected. In sideboarding, these are the cards that I'm going to pull aside that I'm interested in. I'm interested in Thoughtseize and the Fatal Pushes at the bare minimum. I think Pact of Negation is actually pretty poor, so let's go ahead and at least bring in the Thoughtseize, 1 Fatal Push, double Flusterstorm. Yeah, I'll bring in the Fatal Push and I'll cut 1 Preordain and call it there. Maybe the Night's Whisper is something worse. Maybe the Preordain is better than the Night's Whisper. Yeah, let's go for that. I'm keeping the Fatal Pushes in the post-board games, mostly because of Collector Oof and Scavenging Ooze. I think stopping, or also just being able to stop the combo in general. I'm going to go ahead and keep this. We'll Preordain on turn 1, and then we can Duress and Ponder the turn after. Or maybe I'm supposed to Duress on turn 1 here, but I think I'm going to go ahead and do it this way. Dark Ritual, not too bad. How much mana do we have right now? We have a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This would actually just fix most of our mana problems. So I'm going to just go ahead and do this, pass the turn. I really wish I could bottom the Dark Ritual here in hopes of finding like another selection spell, but I guess next turn my curve is pretty accounted for, if you will, with all these 1-mana spells. They're gonna play the Nettle Sentinel on 1. That's fine. And we drew a Swamp. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and yeah, I guess I'll Ponder first. It's kind of a weird conclusion. Yeah, I don't like any of this. Actually, the Preordain is not too bad. I'm gonna keep the Preordain here and put away the Lotus Petal and the redundant Dark Ritual. I grab another Underground Sea, and this is where I'm going to duress them. They could kill us as fast as turn 2 here. Fortunately not. They have a Natural Order, double Allosaurus Shepherd, Bayou Birchlore, Wirewood Symbiotes. I'm going to go ahead and take the Natural Order here. Leave them with a bunch of cards that I don't really care about. The Allosaurus Shepherds are a little bit problematic. We do have one Fatal Push, but quite honestly, like, I don't even know if I care too much about the Allosaurus Shepherds at this point because they don't have 6 mana to activate the ability. Or maybe they do. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Definitely kind of weird. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So technically we're just missing one piece now, and that's the payoff. And if we draw something like Solve the Equation, we're pretty happy. Okay, so they top decked a Quirion Ranger. So they're actually going to be able to deploy a lot of their hand, which means we might be dead to something like a Gaia's Cradle, for example, next turn. Okay. Yeah, and they're just going to put everything into play here. Now Fatal Push doesn't even look that good. I'm going to assume here that they're going to attack with the Nettle Sentinel and then play the Wirewood Symbiote post-combat to untap the Nettle Sentinel. I mean, Birchlore and Nettle Sentinel are pretty freaking sweet together. Just being able to put a bunch of 1-drops into play. Yeah, I mean, if we drop here to the Abyss here, then it's just like over, right? We just win. We've gone through a decent bit of selection. I guess this is an interesting question is right here. Would I rather have Preordain or would I rather have Night's Whisper? And I think I would rather, well, actually, let's count some mana. I think I'd rather have the Night's Whisper. Actually, we're close to 9 here, so maybe the Preordain. They have to tap a lot of creatures here to get more mana, so I don't think we're going to die to the Allosaurus Shepherd outside of some spooky top decks. So I'm just going to go ahead and Preordain and then see what's up after this. I wonder if there's any benefit to firing off the Fatal Push here. Maybe I can like Fatal Push the Wirewood Symbiote now or Fatal Push the... Oh, that's good. That'll do it. Right? So this turn, unfortunately, we only have 6 mana. We needed 1 more mana source. So I'm just going to go ahead and top here. We're going to have to fade a turn, but I believe that we can do it. Now, is there any way for them to... This is so hard. Elves and their mana. I guess we have Fatal Push to like maybe like mess up their calculations. Like they might swing for like 1 billion points here and then we'll see what happens. But Allosaurus Shepherd, I already made a rant about it in my previous video, so I'm not going to make another rant about it. It's a very powerful card. Fortunately, this deck doesn't care too much about Allosaurus Shepherd. One card that I could have potentially brought in for this exact situation is something like Massacre. I was thinking about this in my prior matches, but I just feel like the plan here is to sort of solitaire against them with minimal interaction. I think we are a little bit faster than they are. Like we can potentially win on turn 2. Maybe Massacre is better than something like Fatal Push. It's not like they have planes for us to get the 0 mana Massacre, but like going Dark Ritual into, honestly, yeah, I'm down to try that. If we go like Dark Ritual into Massacre at any stage of the game, like if they just like do something like this again, right? We get so much time to do our thing. So yeah, let's see what happens here. And I'm also just not even really interested in, well, yeah, I'm also really not interested. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to imprint here. Maybe I'm supposed to keep the, oh yeah, we'll just imprint the Fatal Push if it comes down to it. Hopefully we don't have to. They drew a Quirion Ranger. Okay. That is fine. Okay. So long as they don't deal 16 points of damage to us, we can peer into the Abyss, draw 23, 24 cards for 1 life. Let's see, so they have 1 mana. Okay, but the trigger on the stack, tap the Birchlore, untap the Nettle Sentinel. Okay, that makes sense. Ooh, well, what say you? Yeah, and I think this is another important thing too, right? I could have used the Fatal Push on something like the Wirewood Symbiote to guarantee my value, my 1-for-1 value. But I think in this situation, I'd rather just Fatal Push a 5/5, right? Like to save the damage, to prevent potential lethal. Okay, so they have 4 mana now. Wirewood Symbiote will untap the Birchlore. Okay, now they replay the Forest. So that's 5, that's 6. Wait a minute. I don't know if this is going to work the way you want it to. Is it going to work? You tap 5. You've tapped both of these. The Allosaurus Shepherd is going to make your elves into 5/5 dinosaurs, but Wirewood Symbiote is actually an insect. So, okay. It looks like, wait a minute. What? Oh, my bad. So the first time they were activating Quirion Ranger. Okay, gotcha. I'm with you. That was a Quirion Ranger activation. Now they just activated the Wirewood Symbiote. So now the Allosaurus Shepherd could do something, but I think we are good to go here with the Fatal Push. Yeah, everything becomes a 5/5, except most of these things can't attack. If you have ways to untap more than 3 creatures, you have to untap, no, yeah, 2 creatures. If you untap 2 creatures, no, 3 creatures. Yeah, it's exactly, okay, I got it the first time. I don't know why I doubt myself like this, but yeah. Then we are in a little bit of trouble, but I think we can just take the 11 points of damage here. I don't think there's any reason. I'd rather just imprint the Fatal Push to increase the consistency of my Peer into the Abyss. If we get rid of one of the Tendrils of Agony, you have 5, 5, 1. Okay, we go down to whatever that is. I don't have to like find more mana or whatever it is. I can just have the Tendrils in my hand. So we're going to Chrome Mox here. This is our 4th turn, so admittedly, this is a little bit slower than I would like. And they're also going to see that we boarded in Fatal Push, which is a little bit of information, I guess, a little bit of value that they're going to get here. And now where are we? Okay, looks like we have sufficient everything to pop off here. So we have the Tendrils in our hand. Just catch them with all these rituals. Okay, and then we drew another Tendrils too if we really wanted to flex on them. Yo, shout out to the Drip game though. Check it out. How many of these Pokemon can you name, by the way? This is the check here. Who knows what they got going on here? I know. Let's see. This one, I'll give you a free bone. This is not a free bone, a freebie. This is Cubone right here. In fact, I'll stand up here. What you got? Channel Fireball? How many of these can you name? All right, cool. So my wife bought that for me, by the way. And that was, it's a pretty sweet pickup, I'm not going to lie. Storm is 10. We're going to cast Tendrils. We're going to target them. And we are going to go to game 3. Now, admittedly, this is sort of what I'm worried about, which is just like getting solitaired. But I think I am going to actually make that swap with the Massacre for the Fatal Push. I mean, Fatal Push is a little bit more elegant. 1 mana, knock them in the head a little bit. But Massacre just has the potential to win. It might be bad. I might regret it, but we'll see what happens here. Again, I don't think I want the Dark Confidant or the Night's Whisperers. Like, in that exact situation, Night's Whisper would have been a little problematic. Interesting, because we were at 3. If we had Whispered, we would have gone down to 1, which means that if we didn't have exactly the Fatal Push, we wouldn't have been able to play the Peer into the Abyss. I have to think every time I say it, because I'm so scared I'm just going to say something else. Which, I mean, okay, whatever. It's funny. But yeah. So that's kind of an interesting observation here. Now, this hand is really bad. I don't like it at all. I know we have Thoughtseize and Flusterstorm to stop like Natural Order and Glimpse, but we have no way to. Okay, whoa, this might be better. Okay, I'm gonna keep this. I don't know if it's correct, but I'm gonna keep this. We have no way to really like get going, which is not exactly the position I want to be in, right? Like if our top decks are not kind to us, oh my goodness. All right, well, they're going to Thoughtseize, and now they get to see the Massacre here. So I wonder if they're just going to take the Massacre or if they're going to take the Brainstorm. I think both of these are justifiable. I mean, now that they see the Massacre, it's also kind of easier to play around, right? You don't like vomit your hand out onto the table. You go like Dryad Arbor with the Quirion Ranger, with the what is it called? A Wirewood Symbiote. And then like, it's not actually very, very, very good. I'll play a Delta here, sure. And we'll see what happens. The mulligan to 6 here. I'm not even sure if this deck mulligans well or not. I feel like in this situation, that was a pretty good Thoughtseize, taking away the Brainstorm. As far as Thoughtseizes go, like if they had taken the Massacre, I'd be less sad. I think taking the Brainstorm is from my position at least, I'd much rather have the Brainstorm than the Massacre because that gives me some flexibility and kill potential. Massacre is mostly a defensive card, right? Okay, they're going to Thoughtseize again here, so seems reasonable. They're going to take the Massacre now. Okay, so double Thoughtseize means that maybe they don't have that aggressive of a start and they're trying to play control, but good to know that it didn't actually matter. I'm just going to go ahead and fetch here. We're going to go get an Underground Scene. If we get punished by something like Surgical on Polluted Delta, like so be it kind of deal. Okay. Well, Duress is not a bad draw. I'm going to go ahead and fire it off right now to hopefully get rid of a Glimpse of Nature or Natural Order. That's a Green Sun Zenith. And there's a Collector Oof, which is kind of interesting. Collector Oof is like powerful, but like I mentioned, right, like this deck doesn't have like Lion's Eye Diamonds. We have actually we have 6 artifacts, so it's not even like that bad. But I don't think it's like as scary. Like we just have to be conscious about it while we're playing around or playing with our combo. So there's that. All right, they played everything, so we don't know what's in their hand anymore. And yeah, I did deck thin there. I don't know if I feel guilty about that or not. We did draw Preordain. That's pretty nice. Sequence-wise, let's go ahead and fetch first and get an Underground Sea. And I'm going to go ahead and Preordain. This makes our Preordain a little bit better if we do draw into another cantrip, because let's say I don't want this Dark Ritual, which I actually don't want right now. I'm going to bottom this, but then if I have to fetch again, we might ponder into another we might ponder into exactly that Dark Ritual. So not 100% sure if that is even relevant here. Okay, this is pretty bad, but I do want the ponder, so I'm going to keep that. Remember, Lotus Petal doesn't really do anything with the Collector Oof in play. We have an island here. All right, ponder, and this gives us Dark Ritual, Duress, and solve the equation. So now we have to do a little bit of math here to see exactly where we are. This is 3 mana plus 4, 5 mana plus 3 and 3. Yeah, so I guess I'll keep this. Pass through the turn here. Hope that they don't go like land natural order. Even if they go like land natural order, I don't think we die, right? Because then it would be like Hoof and the Collector Oof. That's 5/2 plus 4 is, no, 5/2 plus 4. 2 each, yeah, 5 plus 2 plus 4. Okay, I got it right the first time. Yeah, okay. We'd still be alive here, but it looks like they don't have it, so that's pretty good for us. We're gonna go down to 11 here, and the next turn we're gonna try and just combo off here. Elvish Visionary is fine. Untaps the Nettle Sentinel, which is kind of annoying. I think we saw our opponent was gonna play it pre-combat, but makes sense to untap the Nettle Sentinel here. I guess the benefit is there's like a chance that you could potentially combo kill me. Like if you have like Gaia's Cradle, if you hit Gaia's Cradle and your last card is natural order, you could have actually just done it. You know, that would have actually ended me, I think, right? Because then it would have been 2 plus 2 plus 5 is what? 9 plus 9 is 18. So yeah, there's potential to win the game there if you play the Elvish Visionary pre-combat. I totally understand that. But like I said, next turn we're going to go Dark Ritual. Wait, this is 3 mana plus 2 plus 3 plus 3. Oh my god, the math is really hard sometimes. 3 plus 2 is 5. 5 plus 6 is 11. Okay, that's perfect, which means that we hopefully will have enough to win. Okay. So we have 9 mana. I'm going to tap this, go solve the equation, pick up a, where is it? Peer into the Abyss. Okay, target myself, go down to 5 life here, and I think we found it. Okay, yeah, I'm going to go Petal, doesn't do anything. Petal, doesn't do anything. Just kidding, it adds to the storm count, which is great. Here's another Petal. So Collector Roof, like, looking kind of decent here, but secretly, I don't think it is. We'll play Swamp, sure, why not? Yeah, we definitely have enough. I think it's just so hard to fizzle when you draw half your deck. Like, I don't even know what kind of stuff has to happen. Okay, actually, that's not true. I do know what has happened. I fizzled in one of my games, but that was because I made a mistake in sideboarding. And that mistake that I made in sideboarding was actually, I ended up cutting too many of these Lotus Petals. We're going to just go ahead and Duress. So I used my Lotus Petals like pre-combat, or I cut out 2 Chrome Mox and I cut out 2 Lotus Petals, and then I used my Lotus Petals pre-combat. So I wasn't actually able to draw into any Lotus Petals, and then I didn't have black mana to combo off further. So yeah, this is sweet. We're just going to go ahead and Tendrils them for lethal. Lots of lethal. Yeah, cool. All right, sweet. We'll see you for the next one. We're on the play here, and this is kind of an interesting hand. I'm going to keep this hand. It's 3 islands, a Duress, Ponder, Chrome Mox, and a Peer into the Abyss. So we have payoff, we have a good mana base. We just need to find more protection. We've already got Duress as like the first layer of protection, but then also we need a lot more mana. Now, admittedly, I think we sort of see like one of the downsides to this, one of the upsides to this deck actually being like kind of a downsider. I'm going to keep this hand here, and we're going to go turn 1 Ponder off an island, but yeah, we have a lot of basics in this deck. You know, you might be used to like TES not playing any basics, or maybe like 1 basic Swamp and maybe 1 basic Island on the good day. You know, Ad Nauseam Tendrils will probably play only 2 basics. This deck has a whopping 5 basics, and I think being a 2-color Storm deck, that is so good. Like, if you think about cards that like shut down this deck, Collector Oof, right? You know, you have like Hull Breacher, right? Or, you know, like what is the one and a white? Aethys One Canonist, right? Our opponent is mulligan to 6, by the way. I feel like one card that Storm players will say that they lose to more than any of these cards is Wasteland. So having 5 basics in the deck is actually just really, really good. Now, sadly, as cool as this could be, I don't think I'm allowed to keep this, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So technically we would be able to get there, but I'm just going to go ahead and shuffle this. We can do better. We can find, yeah, something like a Rain of Filth. I mean, this is not great, but maybe if we can imprint a different black spell under the Chrome Mox, then later on we can do stuff with things. And all right, Abundant Harvest. Wow. Now this is a great card, and arguably, I think this is the best card for Legacy in Strixhaven. I'll make a video about this later. I've been playing a lot of Abundant Harvest in my Snow deck. In fact, I think I've almost like reinvented just like how the mana base for the Snow deck should be built moving forward, and I think it's a huge buff to the deck. These are great. Yeah. Well, let's do the math here though, right? So next turn we have how much mana? Do we have enough mana? Chrome Mox could just be like a storm spell. So next turn, I'm going to play a land this turn. We'll untap, we'll play a land. We'll have 3 mana. Dark Ritual is 4/5. Rain of Filth is going to be 6/7. So we are 1 short from also casting Duress. All right, I'm going to go ahead and top. Ooh, that's like so nerve-wracking though. Do I cast the Duress this turn now then? I think I will. And then just sort of like make them top deck. Oh, they do have a force. Okay, well, looks like the Duress is going to connect no matter what. So I'm going to just take that and then pass. There's no way we're going to beat the Brainstorm anyways, so I think I'm just going to go for it next turn and make them settle for like just cantripping into a one-hit wonder. I guess they get the draw that's on the top of their deck as well. Okay, so they're pondering here. I'm not going to not go for it, I think. We just saw their hand as 5 duds. They chose to not shuffle their library. Oh, no. Oh, Harvest. Okay. And then they got rid of those cards and picked up another Brainstorm. Well, I don't know if I have a choice here. Dark Ritual, because we know the next card and it's not very good. Okay, Island. That's one thing that I realized is that you want to make sure that your land is in play before you Rain of Filth. Blue, blue, sack for black, sack for black, sack for black, and peer into the abyss. The Ponder find another force. So well, it did not, and we get to draw a lot of cards. That's what I'm talking about. All right, we got Chrome Moxes. We got Peer into the Abysses. We're just going to go to town here. Chrome Mox, okay. And imprint the this and play another Chrome Mox, okay. And imprint the... Actually, do we need a blue? We are at Storm 5. I should probably look at all the rest of my cards. I guess we could just get blue here. Yeah, let's just get blue. Okay, cool. Looks like it doesn't actually even matter here. So Dark Ritual... Dark Ritual, Cabal Ritual. This is great. I mean, using Peer into the Abyss as a card advantage engine over Past in Flames feels really, really powerful. All right, we're going to Duress now and see what's up. What's popping? What's under the hood? And we know there's a couple Brainstorms. They're going to concede to conceal information. Totally reasonable, makes sense. We're playing against some sort of like fair bug-ish deck. So I think this is a matchup where I definitely want the Thoughtseizes, and I wouldn't mind Flusterstorm as well. The last card that I'm really kind of interested in is Dark Confidant. So let's go ahead and see what we can cut to bring in these. Now in this matchup, I'm not a huge fan of Chrome Mox. I think giving up resources is not exactly where I want to be. Chrome Mox is great when I'm trying to like accelerate out my combo, but this is a matchup that I imagine is going to be a little bit more, a little bit grindier than not. So in terms of interaction though, all right, well, let's also just do this. Let's make my pile, because I'm a visual learner. I like to see curves like visually. And what are we looking at right now? So these are all our interaction spells. These are all our draw spells. This is all of our mana. And then this is our payoff. I don't really think I want to cut any of the payoff, and I don't think I want to cut any of the draw spells. Although, because they are playing Bug, I guess we have to keep Leovold in as a consideration. So there's a world where I'm even supposed to bring in like Fatal Push or something like that. But let's at least start by bringing in the Thoughtseizes and the Flusterstorms. I guess Flusterstorm is good against something like Veil of Summer. Keep in mind that our counter magic is actually a lot better now, because we don't actually have to discard our hand, to like Lion's Eye Diamond to, proc an Infernal Tutor. We just get to, hold a Flusterstorm if we have the mana for it. So I think what I'll end up doing is shaving 1 Lotus Petal. And again, like I mentioned, right, I think this is what Storm players do. I think it's hip and trendy. So I'm just going to go and cut some Preordains and then bring in some Dark Confidants. And maybe I should bring in... I mean, okay, let's be real here. Dark Confidant and Peer into the Abyss is like a really strong combo. Like, I mean, look, you got to live on the edge sometimes, okay? I could, in theory... maybe slim down on 1 Peer into the Abyss, since I'm bringing in a bunch of Dark Confidants, and like then get rid of the last Preordain and bring in 2 Fatal Pushes then. And then now we have a lot more like grinding potential, but I really think that I just want the full 4 copies of Peer into the Abyss. I get it. Like it's a life choice. I'm not going to cut the... Like I said, like one of the games that I lost is when I cut like too many Lotus Petals. So I'm not going to cut that. I'm going to cut 1 more card. Maybe I'm only supposed to have like 2 Dark Confidants, or like One Fatal Push. No, I think Fatal Push is the kind of card that I would want more of than anything. I could cut a Cabal Ritual or a Rain of Filth, but these are like some of the heavy hitters that really enable our mana. Okay, I'm not so sure about this. And you know what? I'd rather cut a Flusterstorm and keep in the removal. I'm not even really sold on the Dark Confidants. Like, if our opponent has like Plague Engineer or Abrupt Decay in post board, which is not unlikely, this hand is very slow. But I think that's kind of my plan too. Rain of Filth is very powerful. We already have Peer into the Abyss. We need to top deck into a couple things here, but like this hand has a lot. It basically has everything that I want. That's a reasonable top deck. I don't think it accelerates us, but it does allow us to go like Lotus Petal into something like that. And it looks like they're holding up Veil of Summer as well. So we will just do nothing for a couple turns and see what happens here. I actually heard a funny story. Leovold is kind of a scary problem because it does stop Peer into the Abyss. Okay, this is Icewind Coatl, sure. Yep, that's going to come into play. Not even remotely close to getting Death Touch, but hey, guess what? You don't really need it. Leovold is scary, but one friend was telling me that they were playing this deck and they actually beat an enemy Leovold by casting Peer into the Abyss, targeting the opponent, and then finishing them off with Tendrils. All right, so they're going to untap. This is an Abundant Harvest, sure. I have to imagine they're going to name Mountain. Okay, they have Brainstorm in their hand, and then they have Forest on the bottom of their deck, which I think is fine. What am I looking for now? Oh, actually, we could win now, right? If we really wanted to go for it. But again, like I'm not really sure what to do about Veil of Summer. So I'm not really in a rush here to make any moves. I think I'll just pass. Like I'll play the Swamp out and pass. But like what could we theoretically do here? We could go like Dark Ritual. Okay, Rain of Filth, fetch first, and then Rain of Filth. And then that would give us 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then we have Lotus Petal for the Duress as well. The turn 1 Tropical Island really, like the way this game is played out so far, is just I just smell that Veil of Summer, and it looks like it's cooking on the grill, and I don't want a piece at all. Hopefully they tap out at some point, make a mistake or something. Icewind gonna keep chipping in here, but the damage doesn't really matter too much. Okay, there's the Baleful Strix. Yep, it's not too bad. We draw like a Pact of Negation, I'll make a move. Oh, Dark Confidant. Yes, that is great. All right, let's go ahead and play a Dark Confidant. That makes me pretty happy. We don't have to ever attack with the Dark Confidant, but getting to draw some cards. And also now we're just at the point where like I can go like Dark Ritual into Peer into the Abyss. So if I ever find another Peer into the Abyss, like it's pretty good, right? Like we get to keep the Rain of Filth around for a while. All right, and they have 5 mana too. So at this point, whoa, they're not. Okay. I see you, opponent. Yeah, we just never attack with the Dark Confidant here. Like, we saw lots and lots of Ice Fangs and Baleful Strixen, so... Oh, wow, it's Aluren! Okay, now that makes a lot of sense. And now they have Uro. Sure. We're gonna go up to 21 here. 4 cards in hand, 1 is a Cavern Harpy, and they didn't play the Cavern Harpy either. Yeah, so let's see what we draw here. Good cards, 1 time. Tendrils and Fatal Push. Okay. All right, I'm going to fire off a Duress now. I think now is fine. Like, they're going to Veil, which is really annoying. Yeah, this is really annoying. But I think we just have to go through the motions here. Okay, Cryptic Command. You know, that really is interesting. No, yeah, I can't unfortunately do anything right now. But we're going to go ahead and just also attack with the Dark Confidant too. See if we can get some beats in here. They only have 1 mana now, so I get to attack because they can't represent Icewind Coatl. And hopefully they don't have another Veil of Summer here. They get to play Uro, which is really dumb, but I think... Can we generate enough Storm to maybe go like Peer into the Abyss? That gets countered, and then we play Tendrils for the win? They're at 21, so we actually need a lot of Storm, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spells with the Tendrils, so they would have to donate a lot of spells on their own, right? Which I don't think is really reasonable to happen, so... Let's just hope that the Dark Confidant picks us up something really nice, something juicy, like a Flusterstorm or a Thoughtseize. Okay, yeah, that's the move. Now it's time to go. Thoughtseize will target you. Do you have another Veil of Summer? Oh, I think they do. Okay, well that's unfortunate, but that is one way to beat discard. And then I think what I'll do here is just pass the turn. I guess I could have like Fatal Pushed the Uro. Yeah, maybe I was supposed to Fatal Push the Uro because now I don't even get to attack them, which is really unfortunate. Maybe I should have also done this at the beginning of combat, which is pretty bad on my part, but we'll see. We could actually reasonably die here if we accidentally flip like a thing. Yep. All right. Revolt. Fatal Push this. Cool. Okay. So it looks like they had something else, which is not very good for us. We're down to 6 here. If we flip 7-drop, we are Not so happy. But yeah, but double Veil of Summer is just like so rough. And they're playing another Uro from their hands right there at 24. I really just don't think the life total aspect of this matters too much. Right. Untap. We go down to, ooh, okay. Brainstorm is pretty good. So why don't we just start with that? Brainstorm is pretty good. And that gives us Night's Whisper. Pretty nice as well. Just gonna like put 2 cards back. Yeah, we have a lot of mana this turn. So I think we might just be able to do something crazy here. I'm not really counting here. I'm just casting spells. I love this spell, by the way. Night's Whisper. Sweet, sweet spell. All right. So now I'm going to play an island and attack. Puts them down to 22. So here's... So I guess I should do the math here because I'm so close to dying here that it's like actually scary. It looks like they have a Force of Will. How bad is that for us? See, now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So in theory, I guess here's the deal, right? Like we could, yeah. So I think I'm actually going to pop off here. And the upside now is that since we have this Dark Confidant in play, like even if this is a flub, we're going to gain a lot of life off of Tendrils. So I'm not like too worried about this. Yeah, we're going to Dark Ritual here. That gives us 3, 4, 5. And then I could just tap out right now. But I think I will spew a Cabal Ritual right now and then try to peer into the abyss, target myself. And I have a feeling that this is going to get forced. So let's see what happens next. Oh, it's getting Flusterstormed. Wow. Wait, we can actually pay for that, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure we can pay for that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So maybe I'm supposed to lead with the Cabal. No, I'll lead with the yeah, if the Cabal Ritual gets countered, it's kind of a problem. So I'm gonna just Rain of Filth and pay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, okay, so multiple Veils, multiple Flusterstorms. This is kind of a very back and forth matchup, if you will. Okay, they're brainstorming. Okay, that's a pretty good sign then, actually. Brainstorming here is a sign of weakness, right? So does this resolve? Oh, okay, I don't think it's resolving. Misty Rainforest on the stack. 4 cards in hand. All right, so unfortunately, my computer blipped out, and yeah, we ultimately ended up losing. We had a Peer into the Abyss and Tendrils in our hand, and we had 8 mana that we had to pay for a Flusterstorm, or we got to cast the Tendrils of Agony, and I decided to let Peer into the Abyss get countered by Flusterstorm so I could cast a Tendrils for 24, and my opponent had the 3rd Veil of Summer instead of the Force of Will. So this hand is looking a little bit better. We get to play Duress on turn 1 to potentially nab something like a Force or a Veil, and otherwise, yeah, it's pretty good. We also have the Night's Whisper, which is another card that I'm super ecstatic about. So this is great. We're on the play. The last game, they went, what was it? They went Tropical Island on turn 1 and then just held up Veil the entire game. Now, hopefully, we get to just take the Veil of Summer on turn 1. Yep, and there we go. Very nice, very nice. So they have Brainstorm, and then they have double Icewing and a couple lands here. And we're just going to go ahead and pass the turn. Sure thing, Chief. All right, Verdant Catacombs. I'm going to get a Swamp. I don't know if it really matters. And then we're just going to Night's Whisper and see what we can get with this. Flusterstorm. Yeah, that's also very good, too. So I'm a little bit wary about something like... Leovold, but... All right, I'm going to play the Polluted Delta and then just Brainstorm. I don't think I want the Fatal Push. Yeah, and that's pretty freaking good, right? Yeah, I'm a huge fan. This looks like we can win next turn. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 mana, 5, 6 off the Dark Ritual, at least 7 off the Cabal Ritual, but it looks like with the 2 fetches and the Dark Rituals, we'll have Threshold. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which means we can peer into the Abyss with Flusterstorm backup. So that's pretty good. And I guess we just pass the turn here. They get to look at a decent number of cards this turn, though, which is a little bit unfortunate. They're going to go Icefang Coatl, so that's 1, Draw Step, that's 2, Brainstorm, that's 3, 4, 5, and then even the Icefang Coatl in their hand is 6 cards. So they get some shots at converting their hand right now that doesn't do anything into a hand that has 2 counters, but I guess we also get 1 extra draw. So, I mean, honestly, like, I think it's kind of close. I'm still going to go for it here. Like, they have to draw pretty well here. And also, let me be very clear, like, they've got Flusters and Veil of Summers, right? So that means us having taken 1 Veil of Summer, like, I don't care about Veil of Summer really after the fact, if that makes sense. We're going to fetch this land away. Sure. because we're going to have Pact of Negation off Peer into the Abyss. I guess they could like Veil of Summer in response to the Peer into the Abyss. That would be pretty smart, but let's see what we draw. We drew another Flusterstorm. All right, that's excellent. Let's go. Bless up. All right, so we have 7 cards in the graveyard right now. 7 cards in the graveyard right now. Delta, we're going to get an island, and yeah, let's rock it. Let's go. Dark Ritual. Storm is 1. All right. Here comes Cabal Ritual. Storm is 2, and then we're going to go up to 6 mana. All right. Peer into the Abyss. Target myself. And I believe now they're going to go Ice Fang into Brainstorm. Actually, you know what? Maybe it's even reasonable to just Brainstorm first because you've got Flusterstorm in your deck. If you Ice Fang into Brainstorm, you cut yourself off of outs there. So I'm kind of happy with... Whoa! They just let it resolve. Okay, sure. Yeah. So we have 1 Pact of Negation in our hand. Let's just go ahead and start playing these. Dark Ritual. Okay. And now Cabal Ritual. Okay. And now eventually we're gonna solve for... Oh, we still have the double Flusterstorm too. I don't know why I'm freaking out. Do we have Tendrils? Where's our Tendrils? I don't think we have it. I could Peer again. All right, well, that means I guess we'll have to solve the equation to pick up Tendrils. So why don't I just keep all my blue mana or as much of my blue mana as possible? Is there like a better way to do this? How many Lotus Petals have we used so far? Not very many, right? And do we still have Chrome Mox? I believe we Chrome Mox. Oh, no, we only have 1 more Lotus Petal in the deck. So it's not worth it to do something crazy like solve again. So I think I'm just going to do this. Here's Rain of Filth. Okay. And I'm going to sack for black, and sack for black. Let's go ahead and solve the equation. And we can pick up a copy of Tendrils of Agony here. I just want to make sure that I'm not like being sloppy with this. You know what I mean? Like, or is it just better to get like, do we have more mana? The second Rain of Filth isn't very good here. I guess we do have another solve the equation. So I could like pick up another Pact, but I guess we have Flusterstorm already, right? So Pact is not even really that good. So I'm just going to get Tendrils here, sure. And then, yeah, I'm going to Thoughtseize you. No, just kidding. I'm going to Duress you. Okay. This is a Brainstorm. And I think if they force this Duress, I just let it resolve, and then I can Tendrils with Pact Fluster backup. Okay. Yeah, so solve the equation was actually kind of sweet here. I'm not going to lie. It was pretty sweet here. All right, so they actually find Brainstorm off of the Forcible. And I'm going to change my mind here. I think I'd rather trade Duress with Flusterstorm than my Flusterstorm with Flusterstorm, because in theory, I guess they could like counter some weird stuff. Or actually, do I even care? This is just fine, right? Why do I need to Pact this? I can just like Thoughtseize them now? Yeah, okay, so this is going to resolve, and then we Thoughtseize. And we still have mana for Flusterstorm, Pact of Negation. Oh, and we can even Thoughtseize one more time, yeah. So this is pretty sweet. If they had the Veil of Summer, I think they would have used it. I'm going to guess that their hand... Oh, wow, so they have this. Okay. Well, let's just go ahead and... Yeah, we'll go down to 2 life. Well, not 2 life. We're going to Thoughtseize you one more time. Okay. They have 2 cards in their hand, and they pitched Ice Fang Coatl and something else. A double Ice Fang Coatl. Okay, well, that doesn't get to resolve. No. Pact of Negation. Counter this. And you have 1 card left in your hand. Okay. What is that last card? So you had Force. All right, cool. And we're going to get it there. Yeah, that was crazy. Those post-pro games were actually insane. I'm going to see if I can get the footage fixed for the last one. But like game 2, it really was tricky. I decided to play around Force of Will instead of the 3rd Veil of Summer, and I got punished for it. But this game, like, so the deck sort of just like delivered, and we were able to get there. The turn 4, what is it? Peer into the Abyss. That's what, yeah. Turn 4, Peer into the Abyss with double Flusterstorm backup. Sweet. Awesome. All right. See you for the next one.